When we think about magic moments in the theater, we often think about Peter Pan flying, or the Beast turning into a prince, or Elphaba rising high above the crowd, defying gravity. And these moments are spectacular and magical and iconic. And in many ways, I think we have them to thank for a whole new generation of theater goers. Now, in my work, I get to see magic moments almost every day. There's nothing grandiose, nothing spectacular. They can come after months or years of work, or sometimes they happen by surprise. These are the moments when you see a child or a student of any age transform. Now, when I was a kid, you could say that I lived in my own MGM musical. I was Dorothy Gale from Kansas. I was a weird little kid. But I'm grateful for that now because I realize it's at the heart of why I do what I do. At that time, there wasn't the abundance of enrichment programs that we have today, or if they were there, they weren't easy to find. So I created my own. Much to the chagrin of my neighborhood friends, I roped them into coming to my backyard ballet school, or into being in my annual production of The Wizard of Oz, which coincidentally I produced and directed and starred in. If there was a caption at the bottom of my imaginary screen, it might have said future artistic director, or possibly artsy control freak. Possibly artsy control freak who did not run with scissors, but I might have used them to cut my hair in this picture. And the little dog there is just begging not to have to play Toto again. Fast forward, and here I am, running a company that nurtures children and their artistry. Go figure. From an entrepreneurial aspect, building a program from the ground up has had its ups and downs, and there have been many, many lessons along the way. But there have also been many rewards. One thing has always been true. I want our children to feel safe and secure and supported in everything they do with us. Performing is risky, and it's these brave little souls that are at the heart of our company and who fuel us to do what we do. Students come to our company from all walks. Some of them just want to try something new. Some have parents who want them to come out of their shell. Some are recommended to us by their teachers or school counselors or therapists because they know the benefit that this work will have on them. Others love theater, others want to pursue a career on stage or screen. We work with them in their schools or in our programs year-round in our summer camps with Potomac Arts Academy at George Mason. And our curriculum is pretty much the same. We can start with the very basics and then enhance that all the way up to preparing someone for the professional world. But back to those magic moments. How do they happen? Since one could say acting training is my version of rocket science, I began to look for a little formula. So here's how I think it breaks down. A child tries something, and they do just fine. But the teacher sees something more, the potential for something better. So, with a little direction and encouragement and inspiration, they ask the child to try it again. The child makes themselves vulnerable, and they risk, and they try it. And it's that moment of their walls breaking down and their confidence and their skills coming up that I believe the magic happens. Suddenly, they stand a little taller. There's a new light behind their eyes. They almost take up more space in the room. And they might not feel the difference that you see, but they know something is different. And usually what happens is they go away and they come back to the next rehearsal or class, and they're a little bolder, a little louder. And through this growth in self-confidence and skill and the repetition that is at the heart of theater training, they find a new way of being. And if they can just say their name, loud and proud, first and last, making eye contact at the end of our program, I feel like it's been a success. Now, the benefits of theater training are many, and studies show the positive impact of theater on a student's physical, emotional, social, and cognitive development. To illustrate, I asked some of our students what moments stood out to them as particularly magic or special. They get to play with their imagination. I get to try creative new things every day. When I play a character, I can experiment in so many ways with the character. I get to know the character like no one else ever will. We live in a world, we all know this, where it's more and more common to never hear a voice, sometimes not even see a face. We can communicate instantly and make a transaction with the click of a button. And one of the most important forms of feedback that we get about our program is when a child has improved in school, in a presentation or in a class, because they've had this acting training. We see improvement in their communication skills. When I was told I was a better listener and was paying attention more and in all was a better listener. In concentration and memory. After I finished a line correctly, I had a rush of greatness go through me because I had been practicing that line for weeks and weeks and I kept getting it wrong and I finally got it right. I love acting. In the process of working on a scene or a play, a student has to figure out where their character has been, where they're going to go, what they want, how they're going to get it. And I always say that filling in these blanks is like a great crossword puzzle. So we see improvement in problem solving, critical thinking. I've grown in the area of discipline. And by doing this work, students get to put themselves in others' shoes and open their minds to other perspectives and points of view. Social awareness and empathy. In AFYP, people won't scold you or laugh if you mess up. People understand that things happen. We are all on the same boat. It's a good break from the judgment of the world. Another thing we like to emphasize is that the structure of a class is not unlike playing a sport. You are part of something bigger. You're part of a team. And instead of using a playbook, you have a play. And you have different equipment. Instead of using a ball and a bat, you have props and a script. But we're all working toward the same thing, and I love it when that clicks with a student. I used to have a lot of trouble working with groups. Now I realize that theater is a team sport. You have to make your other team members as well as yourself look good to the audience. And finally, self-confidence. I feel on stage that all my worries can go. Acting is one of the things that changed my life. I would never be brave if it weren't for AFYP. Now, I get double the magic because I get to see the impact this has on the teachers as well as the students. As our company has grown, we've invited more and more truly gifted teaching artists into the fold. And you might even say that I get triple the magic because many of our teachers are my former students. Mason students and graduates make up a large part of our teaching team, and it allows me a special vetting process because I get to watch them grow, and I get to see these young professionals who have lots of heart and lots of talent have their own magic moments, and then begin to give those back. They make another leap from student to teacher. They start on a provisional basis. They are observing and assisting, and then they move to a leading role where they're planning classes and planning curriculum and choosing material for their students to do and training a whole new set of teachers. Not all of them will pursue teaching as a career, but I believe that this has given them a whole other dimension to their education simply by having worked with these children in so many different settings and from so many different backgrounds. They have to master preparation and improvisation. They get to be a true leader and a role model. And just from having seen these changes, having been a part of them, they also begin to know the impact that this will have on children for years to come. I talked to some of my teaching artists, and I have a couple of examples for you. A first year. The work children are capable of, even the most hard to deal with kids, is awe-inspiring. A fourth year teaching artist. I am an AFYP girl. I have been affiliated with the company since I was 10 years old, and I'm currently 21. I actually started crying when I heard that I would have an opportunity to work with this company that had completely changed my life. Who cares if I was going to be picking up crumbs and getting people in line? I would be changing children's lives. And from a seventh year teaching artist. In our classes, everyone is encouraged to meet someone new, try new experiences, take risks, explore, discover, fall, get up, and help each other rise to be the best group we can be. I watch my students and former students grow as they watch their own. They genuinely care about these children. They invest in them. And many of them are beginning to look beyond just the class plan and really seeing the importance behind what we do. And our teaching team is maturing, and I'm really proud of that. That shared sense of pride from having seen these changes, having been part of them, having grown a whole new generation of storytellers. That is the ritual that theater is based on. being in the same place, working toward the same goal, is a meaningful celebration. And theater is a powerful tool for change, a chance to share a message, a way to give something back. And by the way, it's not just children and their teachers who have these magic moments. I've worked with many adults in classes and on presentations, and although they might not be quite as in touch with their inner child, when they let go and they risk and they play, the transformation is palpable. I once worked with a woman who was getting ready to step into the presidency of her local legal association, and she was very trepidatious about her script. And we were able to move behind the just picture the audience in their underwear to having her really feel connected to her text and feel confident in her own skin. I also worked with a woman who had been in a terrible pedestrian accident, and she was getting ready for her depositions, and she had so much tension in her wrists and her hands that her wrists and her palms were actually bleeding from how hard she was digging her hands in. And we were able to use visualization and relaxation and breathing to get her to find a place of relaxation and comfort and be able to respond from a much more centered place. And I'm very happy to say she won that case. So these moments are not just in an acting class, they're not just on stage. I believe they happen anytime we feel an improvement in anything that is important to us. And I encourage you to look for those moments in everyday life. You know them when you see them and when you feel them. Just a couple weeks ago, I had a chance to watch a group of 5th and 6th graders in a final presentation. They had created a play with their teachers, and as part of our final Say Your Name Loud and Proud tradition, they had been asked to share their dream, to share what they wanted to be when they grew up. So as they stood there, tall, proud, stating their intentions, they said everything from, I want to be a school counselor, to I want to run a shelter for endangered animals, to I just want to be happy. I got to see magic moments at their best. I got to peek into these children's futures thanks to what they were doing today. So in closing, I want to share a piece of artwork with you that I consider a masterpiece, and it was done by one of our students during her first summer with us. I was afraid at first, but look at me now. See? Magic. Thank you.